The silent frontier. The skies above Nexus 7 burned with the aftermath of destruction. What had once been a thriving human colony, known for its advanced agricultural research and peaceful population, now lay in ruins under the relentless assault of the Vraxian Empire. Their warships, massive obsidian structures that seemed to absorb the very light of the nearby sun, hovered in low orbit like predators toying with wounded prey. Captain Alina Reyes watched the tactical display with growing despair. The colony's orbital defense grid, their pride and most significant investment, had fallen within the first hour of the attack. Their small fleet of patrol vessels, never meant for full-scale combat, had been vaporized shortly after. Now, 3 days into the siege, the ground-based defense cannons were failing one by one as Vraxian ground forces methodically destroyed them. "Status report," Alina demanded, her voice steady despite the chaos around her in the underground command bunker. Lieutenant Javier Santos looked up from his console, his face smeared with dirt and blood from a head wound that had stopped bleeding hours ago. "Eastern sector has fallen. We've lost contact with 3 more outposts. Civilian casualties." He paused, swallowing hard, "are estimated at 60% of the colony's population." Alina closed her eyes briefly, allowing herself just one moment of grief before snapping back to the present crisis. "And the evacuation tunnels? Still secure, Captain. We're moving survivors toward the mining complex as ordered, but the Vraxians are getting close to discovering the main entrance." "How many ships have responded to our distress calls?" Santos' expression said everything before he even spoke. "None, Captain. The Vraxians have established a blockade at the jump point, even if anyone heard us." He didn't need to finish the sentence. Nexus 7 was 4 months of travel from the nearest major human settlement. The colony had been established on the frontier precisely because of its isolation, perfect for agricultural experimentation without risk to more populated systems. That same isolation now ensured their doom. Alina studied the holographic display of their underground bunker network. Nearly 15,000 survivors were huddled in spaces designed for emergency shelter, not long-term habitation. Food and water would last perhaps 2 weeks. Medical supplies were already critically low. "The Vraxians are broadcasting again," one of the communications officers announced. "Let's hear it," Alina said, bracing herself. The harsh, clicking language of the Vraxians filled the command center, automatically translated by their systems into a flat, emotionless voice. "Humans of Nexus 7, your resistance is both futile and illogical. The Vraxian Empire claims this world by right of strength. Your deaths serve no purpose except to delay the inevitable. Surrender now, and those of appropriate genetic compatibility will be permitted to serve the Empire rather than face immediate termination." The message repeated 3 times before cutting off. It was the same offer they had broadcast every 6 hours since the attack began. "Should we respond this time?" Santos asked quietly. Alina shook her head. "We all know what appropriate genetic compatibility means. Slavery until they work you to death." She had seen the reports from other colonies that had fallen to the Vraxians. There were fates worse than death. Aboard the Vraxian command ship Inevitable Dominance, Supreme Commander Krexval stood before the tactical display, his 4 upper arms crossed in a posture of satisfaction, while his lower limbs maintained perfect balance on the sloped deck. The bridge crew, all members of the warrior caste like himself, worked with silent efficiency around him. "The human resistance continues to weaken," reported his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Jex. "Their final defense batteries will fall within 12 hours. Ground forces report the discovery of several underground entrances." Krexval's mandibles clicked in what passed for amusement among his kind. "Have they responded to our generous terms?" "No, Commander." They maintained their silence. Typical human stubbornness. It serves no logical purpose. Their colony is isolated. No aid will come. Krexval's compound eyes shifted to the tactical display, which showed the absolute emptiness of space beyond their blockade. The humans overextended their empire, establishing colonies they cannot defend. Their hubris will be their undoing, beginning with this world. Commander, the sensor officer interrupted, his posture suddenly rigid with attention. We are detecting an anomaly at the edge of the system. Krexval turned his massive armored form toward the officer. Specify. Unknown readings, sir. It appears to be gravitational fluctuations, similar to jump signatures, but on a scale our sensors cannot properly quantify. A malfunction. Krexval dismissed. The humans have no technology capable of. The sensor officer's station suddenly erupted in alarms. Multiple objects emerging from the anomaly. Commander. Classification. Unknown. Size and configuration do not match any known human vessels in our database. Krexval's mandibles clicked rapidly in irritation. Display. The main view screen shifted to show the edge of the system. What appeared there caused even the disciplined Vraxian bridge crew to fall silent. Ships were emerging from what looked like tiers in the fabric of space itself, not the conventional jump points the Vraxians used for faster-than-light travel. These vessels bore only passing resemblance to known human military craft. They were sleeker, darker, with strange geometric patterns along their hulls that seemed to shift and change even as they watched. How many? Krexval demanded. 30. No, 40. Commander, more continue to emerge. Current count is 67 vessels of various configurations, with the largest approximately twice the size of the inevitable dominance. Impossible. The humans had no fleet of this size, certainly not equipped with technology the Vraxian Empire had never encountered. Krexval's mind raced through possibilities. A new alliance, some secret human military project, or perhaps these weren't human vessels at all, but some unknown species interceding in the conflict. Hail them, he ordered. Moments passed as the communications officer attempted to establish contact. Then, unexpectedly, every screen on the bridge flickered simultaneously. The image of a human appeared, a male with dark skin, closely cropped gray hair, and eyes that seemed to hold the cold emptiness of space itself. Vraxian forces, the human spoke in flawless Vraxian language, not through a translator. This is Admiral Marcus Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are engaged in an unprovoked attack on a human colony. You will cease all hostilities immediately, withdraw your forces, and prepare to answer for war crimes against humanity. You have 5 minutes to comply before we open fire. In the underground command center on Nexus 7, the same transmission played across every functional display. Elena Rice stared in disbelief at the face of Admiral Chen, a legend, a hero of conflicts that had ended decades before she was born. This can't be real, she whispered. The Earth Defense Fleet was decommissioned 30 years ago. Yet the tactical displays showed the impossible. A human fleet larger than anything officially known to exist, appearing from nowhere to challenge the Vraxian invasion force. Hope, dangerous and fragile, began to spread through the command center as Santos turned to Elena with wide eyes. Captain, what's happening? Elena shook her head slowly, watching as the mysterious human fleet began to move into formation, advancing toward the Vraxian blockade with deliberate, unhurried precision. I don't know, she admitted, but it seems humanity has secrets even we didn't know about. The next 5 minutes would determine whether those secrets would be enough to save what remained of Nexus 7. The valiant response. Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the EDF Indomitable, watching the tactical display with the practiced calm of a commander who had seen more battles than most could comprehend. Around him, his crew worked with silent efficiency, each member selected not just for their skills, but for their ability to keep secrets, the greatest of which was the existence of the Earth Defense Fleet itself. Vraxian vessels are adjusting their formation, reported his tactical officer, Commander Ling. They're moving to defensive positions around their command ship. Chen nodded, unsurprised. And their ground forces, still engaged against the colony. No sign of withdrawal. They called our bluff, Chen said quietly. As expected. His executive officer, Captain Rashid, stepped closer. Sir, the The Vraxians are broadcasting on all frequencies. Let's hear it. The harsh voice of the Vraxian commander filled the bridge, the translator struggling to convey the mixture of outrage and confusion in the alien's tone. Unknown human vessels, your ultimatum is rejected. This world has been claimed by the Vraxian Empire. Your appearance is unexpected but changes nothing. The humans of this colony will submit or perish. If you interfere, you will share their fate. Chen allowed himself a small smile. Predictable. Status of the Nexus defense cannons. 4 remaining, Admiral, all heavily damaged. Ling replied. Designate targets Alpha through Delta. Synchronize firing solutions with those cannons. Sir, the survivors on the ground deserve to participate in their own salvation, Commander. Chen turned to face his bridge crew. All vessels, execute battle plan Thunderbolt. Primary targets are their orbital weapon platforms. Secondary targets are troop transports. On Nexus 7, Alina Rise watched in awe as the tactical display showed the human fleet performing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. They seemed to flicker in and out of normal space, appearing where they were least expected, their weapons striking with devastating precision. Captain, we're receiving targeting data from the EDF Indomitable, Santos reported, his voice tinged with disbelief. They're sensing their attacks with our remaining defense cannons. Alina hesitated only a moment. Accept the targeting solutions. Divert all power to those cannons. Let's show the Vraxians that Nexus 7 isn't dead yet. The colony's remaining defense platforms, previously ineffective against the Vraxian shields, suddenly found their fire coordinated with precise strikes from the Earth defense fleet. The combined attack created resonance patterns that the Vraxian shields couldn't compensate for. In orbit, the battle had become a one-sided slaughter. The Earth ships moved with impossible agility, their weapons finding vulnerabilities in Vraxian defenses that shouldn't have been detectable. When Vraxian fire did connect with a human vessel, strange geometric patterns on their hulls flared with energy, dispersing the attacks, or, more disturbingly, seeming to absorb and redirect the energy. Commander, Sub-Commander Jex's voice had lost its usual disciplined calm. We've lost 12 destroyers and all our fighter squadrons. The human vessels show minimal damage. Our shields are failing under some kind of harmonic attack pattern. Krexval stared at the tactical display in growing horror. His mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation as he watched ship after ship in his fleet wink out of existence. This was not possible. The humans were a known quantity, their technology thoroughly analyzed, their capabilities documented. What he was witnessing contradicted everything the Empire knew about humanity. Prepare emergency jump calculations, he ordered. We must report this to the High Command. Commander, our jump drives are being targeted specifically. 3 vessels attempted emergency jumps and exploded upon activation. Trapped. They were trapped. A new message came through from Admiral Chen. Vraxian command vessel. Your fleet is neutralized. Your ground forces are being systematically eliminated by our landing parties. You have one final opportunity to surrender before we disable your vessel and board. Krexval's 4 upper arms tightened into fists. Surrender was anathema to a Vraxian warrior, but the alternative seemed to be annihilation. Open a channel, he ordered. I will speak with this human admiral. On the surface of Nexus 7, the tide had turned dramatically. Human forces from the Earth Defense Fleet had deployed with the same impossible technology as their ships, appearing directly behind Vraxian ground positions. Their weapons cut through Vraxian armor as if it were paper. Elena led a group of colonists and her remaining security forces out of the bunker complex, coordinating with the EDF ground teams to secure evacuation routes. The EDF soldiers moved with eerie precision, their armor unlike anything she had seen in the standard military. It seemed to shift colors to match their surroundings and occasionally shimmer with the same strange geometric patterns as their ships. Captain Reyes, one of the EDF commanders, approached her, his helmet retracting to reveal a face that looked too young for his rank. Admiral Chen sends his compliments. We're establishing a secure perimeter around your main settlement. Medical teams are en route. "Thank you, Commander," she began. "Walsh, Commander Thomas Walsh." "Commander Walsh, I have 15,000 survivors in these bunkers. Many need immediate medical attention." Walsh nodded. "We're aware. The Indomitable is deploying 3 hospital ships to the surface. We'll have your people evacuated within hours." Elena looked around at the EDF forces securing the area, noting their discipline and the strange technology they wielded. "Commander, I don't understand. The Earth Defense Fleet was decommissioned decades ago. These technologies, I've never seen anything like them. Where did you come from?" Walsh's expression remained neutral. "I'm afraid that information is classified, Captain. What I can tell you is that humanity learned its lesson after the Centauri massacre. We decided some things shouldn't be public knowledge, especially to potential enemies." In orbit, aboard the Indomitable, Admiral Chen faced the Vraxian commander on the main view screen. The alien's compound eyes seemed to be studying him with a new caution. "Your surrender is accepted," Chen said coolly. "Your remaining vessels will power down all weapons and prepare to be boarded. Your ground forces will lay down their arms immediately." "You deceived us," Krexfall accused. "The Vraxian Empire's intelligence indicated humanity possessed no such fleet, no such technologies." Chen's expression remained impassive. "That was the intention. Who are you? These ships were not built by your regular defense forces." "No," Chen agreed. "They weren't. Consider this a revelation, Commander Krexfall. Humanity is not what you thought we were. Your empire has attacked our colonies, believing us overextended and vulnerable. That assessment was incorrect." The Admiral leaned forward slightly. "When you return to your empire, and yes, we will allow you to return, deliver this message. The frontier of human space is not undefended. It is merely that its defenders prefer to remain unseen until needed. Any further aggression against human worlds will be met with the full force of the Earth Defense Fleet." As the transmission ended, Chen turned to Captain Rashid. "Prepare boarding parties. I want every piece of Vraxian technology cataloged and analyzed." "Yes, sir. And the survivors on Nexus 7. Begin evacuation immediately. Once the civilians are secure, we'll implement the Lazarus Protocol for the colony infrastructure." Rashid nodded, understanding the implications. By tomorrow, there would be little evidence of the advanced technology that had saved Nexus 7. The colony would be rebuilt with conventional human technology, its defenders apparently reinforced by standard military units. The Earth Defense Fleet would vanish back into the shadows, ready to emerge again when needed. On the surface, Elena watched as EDF medical teams treated the wounded with technologies that seemed miraculous. Injuries that would have been fatal or permanently disabling were being healed before her eyes. "Will you tell me the truth someday?" she asked Walsh, who had remained by her side as they coordinated the evacuation. The commander glanced at her, then looked up at the sky where the battle had already ended. "Perhaps. But for now, just know this. Humanity learned long ago that appearing vulnerable can be an advantage. The Vraxians thought they knew our capabilities. Their mistake was believing what we allowed them to see." Elena nodded slowly, understanding dawning. A hidden fleet, hidden technology. All this time, Walsh confirmed. No one was supposed to show up to save Nexus 7. That's what the Vraxians believed. That's what everyone believes about our frontier colonies. He smiled slightly. "But humanity protects its own, Captain Reyes, even when it seems we're alone in the dark."